Quick picture of Mike looking casual, and I'll put it onto the board where he's going to show you exactly how to import. Now, you can do this with any import, so you can import the model of pretty much any component in the world if you just do a quick Google search and find out where it is. Go on, Mike.
Okay, so quite often you're going to come across this situation where you want to design or simulate a circuit and you can't find the model. This happens a lot. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up Google, our good friend, and I'm going to search for an LM386, which is the component we're after, and multi-sim model. And you can see lots of other people have the same problem for many, many years, back to 2010. Why isn't this model there? What we do is we have to go through these links and we have to find somebody offering the model. For the case of this particular part, we've done this and we put it on Moodle. Here it is down here. So it's pretend this is Google. I found this link and now I'm going to download this file. It gives me a PRZ file down here. So I want to now get that model file into Multisim. To do that, I load up Multisim. I go to Tools, and I want to look at my database and my database manager. I can only import into my user database, or my corporate database, but in our sense it's our user database. So I need to select the database I want to be using as user database. Now, I simply import a model, and I have to go and find the model that I've just downloaded, which rather interestingly isn't here. So I need to select a star.prz down here. Now I can see my model. I click on my model. I want to import it into my user database. I click Start. In this case it says select a method to handle duplicate component names. Well, in this case I'm only installing one component, so I'm just going to ignore it. I click OK, and we see this done down here. If I click Close, now I have an op-amp, an LM386 in my user library. So I can close this now. Now I can go along and place my component, and I want to select it from my user database, and here's my LM386. I click OK, job done.
Just run through that again really quickly again, Mike.
Okay. So I'm just going to go in and remove that database. Okay. So, we search for the model we need to find. In this case, an LM386, we've used Google. There's one here, where can I download the 386 model? Unfortunately, you go through all the aggro clicking it, and somebody down here that etc., etc. You just need to do your best to find the model. And once you've done that, we can just download it. Ends up in our download folder. We can load up on Multisim. We need to import into our database, so we go Tools, Database, Database Manager. We can only import into our user database. So we need to select, where it says database name, we need to select user database. We have an import option. We click import. We need to select the filter, the file filter down here to be a component path file or a star.prz. Then we can see all the models that we've downloaded. Select the model we want to import. And we want to make sure we're trying to import it into our user database. We're going to ignore any naming duplicates because we're only importing one component. If we selected 100 components and they had the same names, for example, this would be irrelevant. So we're going to ignore it. We click OK. It processes everything, and we should see a nice done down here. If you see errors, then obviously you might need to go and find a different model. Once we see that done, we close. We're finished with the database manager, so we can close that completely. Now we need to place that component. So we'll place components. We want to place the LM386. And there we are. But remember, the placement of that component is from our user database, not the master database. You won't find it in the master database. You need to select user database.